first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. Cars Plus, Guam's automotive leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years. Starting now on KUM News Prime Time.
Southern High School's principal speaks out about the student violence on the campus he oversees. Find out how admin approaches addressing the incidents.
What is the state of journalism today? I'm Nick Delgado reporting from day 2 of the RTDNA conference here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The report coming up.
Authorities are ramping up highway safety by making drivers aware of their speed by using tools like this. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with all you need to know about these radar digital speed signs.
Afternoon, Guam. I'm Jason Salas. This is KUM News Prime Time, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, murder suspect Jordan Babata in tonight's top report may have an attorney, but there could issue with his duration in the case, causing another delay to move forward with the trial. Now, just so you know, Babata is one of the 4 men accused of killing retired Army veteran Jason Siswico. He's had issues with securing an attorney to represent him in the case due to a conflict. At one point, he was about to represent himself, as although Babata currently has attorney Joshua Walsh representing him, prosecuting attorney Basil O'Malley has the following thoughts on this case.
The decision is going to be made whether how long Mr. Walsh can remain on the case. We are trying to resolve the matter, but we don't know how that's going to proceed at this time.
Councillor Walsh told KUM News he once represented Siswico in another court matter, and he informed the court about the conflict, filing a motion a week ago. The next hearing is the 24th of October. Siswico's body, as you now know, was found along Route 15 near the Raceway Park in Jigo in January. With an autopsy ruling, he was killed as a result of blunt force trauma. Co-actors Cynthia Kanata, Brandon Chandler, Jason Manabusan are facing similar charges in the local court. The 4 stand accused of allegedly beating Siswico to death and dumping his body in a jungle in the Jigo area. Investigators say the motive may have been drug-related. In other news, the Guam police officer who was charged with aggravated assault and was placed on administrative leave while Internal Affairs conducted their investigation seems to be back on duty. According to a memo dated the 14th of September, effective the 17th of this month, Leon Guerrero was reassigned to the Police Dispatch Division. On Wednesday, during his hearing with Magistrate Judge Ben Sison, Peter Jesse Leon Guerrero confirmed he was still in the process of securing an attorney and he was to plead guilty or not guilty to aggravated assault as a third-degree felony. On July 30th, a fight broke out at a beach in Tuman with Leon Guerrero being off duty at the time as a police officer. Also arrested in the altercation was Leon Guerrero's relative, Jesse Leon Guerrero, as well as Federico Santiago. In other island news tonight, could September have anything to do with the uptick in student violence? One Guam Department of Education school principal observes that there just may be.
Still shy of a month into the new academic year, and already 2 more student fights breaking out at Guam Department of Education campuses. 2 separate fights caught on camera at Southern High School earlier this week, coming off of the heels of last week's student dispute at George Washington High. Michael Meno, principal of Southern High, says data he's collected may suggest why student conflict is frequent in this particular time of the year.
Our data, because we're coming back to school, we see a trend of disputes happening in September. So I've been meeting with my staff in the morning to just have their, to be more alert regarding any kind of conflicts. And I've asked my teachers to also pay attention to the students because they're more comfortable in the classroom. They tend to talk about what's bothering them. So if they get any kind of information, then they can relay it to us, and then we can mediate before it becomes something that's maybe elevates to a fight.
Still, despite preemptive measures, misunderstandings among Southern High students elevating to physical violence. But Meno says students are still developing how to respond to issues properly, and teaching them how to do so involves factoring in the individual belief systems that would allow them to be receptive.
You know, there's a big perception, right, that a lot of the students in high school should be demonstrating adult responsibilities. And that's something that is not really true. Um, Responsibilities have to be taught, they have to be learned. And at the same time, these types of responsibilities, right, has to be within the belief structure of the student.
And while those social skills are being honed, how are the adult teachers and school aides properly trained to respond to student violence?
So our staff are the ones that go through the training, the safe schools training, and they learn how to restrain students appropriately, how to de-escalate. So you can see that the teacher had his arms out, trying to keep the others from moving in. At the same time, he's calling for the school aide who's outside his door in that wing. Yeah, our teachers don't go through the physical training unless they are in programs that require it.
Meantime, Menno adds school counselors are now working in mediation with the students involved in the fights. As he adds, the root cause of both fights was a misunderstanding, according to the school's investigation. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Elsewhere on island, a hearing on a bill to suspend the business privilege tax on food and medicine for a year drew surprisingly little testimony, but sponsor Senator Jesse Lujan is seeking a one-year waiver, just so you know, on the widely purchased items to hopefully give consumers a much-needed break.
The lone representative from the executive branch was Jennifer Untalon of Rev & Tax, who was called in last minute to provide senators with a projected impact of the tax holiday on government coffers. She estimates about $40 million, but took no position on the bill itself. Still, sponsor Jesse Lujan says the governor is well aware of how hard inflation is hitting the community and said as much in an op-ed piece released this week, which Lujan read from.
And quote, "No one can deny that a dollar just doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Everywhere you look, prices are up, wages feel flat, and people are doing more and more to earn less and less. And despite all their efforts, the administration knows, as a community, we are not where we used to be economically, and there is still so much further to go," unquote. So the administration, when faced with reality, faced with the truth, knows full well our people need help.
The only others to show up were sisters Melanie Gabriel and Natasha Hebert of Rexall Drugs, who testified in support of a temporary waiver of the BPT, especially on medication.
So things just add up so quickly, and then on top of that, we have the 5%. So there's times when, we're looking at some of these medications that we're bringing in, and I'm looking at the cost, and we lose money to bring it in just for our patients. And we do make that decision sometimes, but having the removal of this 5%, gets us closer to at least breaking even.
But some senators, like Joanne Brown, were skeptical that not everyone will pass the tax savings on to consumers.
Unfortunately, we're going to have some businesses that are going to pocket the money, and then when and if the time comes when the government realizes it's spending beyond its reality and taxes are going to be put back in place, the increase to that item is even going to be even more.
But Lujan says he's heard from businesses that do intend to pass on the savings and even reflect the amount in the customers' receipts. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
All right, to a battle of another kind now. We are talking about the gridiron, everybody. Sunday Night Football is, of course, Monday morning football here on the island, 10:20 a.m. to be precise. And this week's game is really, really good. It is that gentleman right there against that gentleman. We have two Alabama running backs going at it. Josh Jacobs, of course, of the Raiders. You see there Devontae Adams and Najee Harris, both members of the Crimson Tide right there. TJ Watt, now the career leader in sacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going to be a big, big game. Once again, all goes down Monday, September 25th, 10:20 a.m. is kickoff. It's streaming on Peacock. Also watch on KUAM TV 8 Live. And please stay tuned, everybody, because there is much more prime time when we return right after this.
Half a Day Fresco Fridays on KUAM News. Presented by Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas. Located in Hagåtña, just across from the Gatti Shopping Center.
While you've been waiting to see if EVs are a thing, my dad went electric.
Up to 360 miles on a single charge.
And if my dad's on board, yours could be next.
You know I'm doing this for the next generation.
Dad, we are not having the grandkids conversation again.
No, I'm just saying EVs are good for any generation, or all generations. Generationally good.
Introducing the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 with up to 360-mile range. When it comes to EVs, we're thinking of every mile.
I do it big. With the Pizza Hut Big Dinner Box, however you want a dinner, we got you covered. Big time. I do it big. The Big Dinner Box. 2 pizzas, breadsticks, and wings or pasta. Oh, hello.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Our colleague Nick Delgado is in the state of Minnesota this week, and he is attending the RTDNA conference. Now, it's a big annual conference held for people that do what we do, news gathering. And here is his report on day 2.
A national survey conducted by the Radio Television Digital News Association shows voters expect more from elected officials and the journalists who hold them accountable.
When we ask them specifically, what is it that keeps you up at night that you want to talk to politicians about? Here's what they told us.
Crime. I'm concerned about crime.
Crime sometimes. I get worried. Crime right now is such a scary thing.
Obviously, it would be safety.
Just the safety of downtown in general.
Safety. Crime.
What about the crime?
What about the crime? If you want to feel safe.
More than 2,000 participated in the survey that touched on issues in their communities and how they feel the media covers it. The results showing 47% trust that the information they are getting is accurate and correct.
The state of trust in 2023 is good but fragile again this year. It's fragile because regardless of which local platform they use, regardless of which source they use for local news, 2 out of every 3 people at least say they sometimes wonder if they can trust the local news on that platform. The local news, not just political news, the local news.
A key mission to restore that trust is now set into motion as the country gets ready to elect a president and Guam prepares for its midterm elections in 2024.
Investigative approach also includes taking a good hard look at the candidates, their backgrounds, and their past actions and votes at 55 and 54%. Strong agreement that it's very important that you do that if you want to build trust.
Day 2 in the Twin Cities for the nation's journalists also honed in on mental health in the workplace, objectivity, and even some self-care spaces. RTDNA President and CEO Dan Shelley also announced the state of journalism
is stronger and more vibrant than ever. My friends, it's an incredibly busy time for RTDNA. We're committed not to rest until journalists have the best possible training we can provide, until outstanding responsible journalism is honored for the tremendous public service it is.
And things wrap up here tomorrow, day 3 of the conference here in the Twin Cities. One of the topics of interest, working with AI and creating opportunity around change. We'll have more on that report on KUAM.com. For now, I'm Nick Delgado, KUAM News in Minneapolis.
Back here at home, for the last 22 years, the Transportation Security Administration has continuously worked to improve the operational safety for travelers at U.S. airports while also seeking ways to make the process more efficient for travelers. Today, visiting TSA West Region spokesperson Lori Danker showed off the most recent improvements at the Guam airport, including the computed technology scanners that have replaced the old bulky X-ray machines. Here's more on the growing responsibilities of the TSA.
If a traveler is going through the line with the CT scanner, they can leave in their travel size liquids and their electronics larger than a cell phone. You do not need to remove those. We'll have a TSA officer in place to explain to the traveler, leave those in your bag, because once again, if the traveler has to do less, doesn't have to remove items from their bag, then it's going to make it quicker for everybody. The other thing travelers need to know is it has a smaller entry than what you might be used to seeing. So if it doesn't fit through the entryway here, it's not going to go. And you need to tell a TSA officer, I have an item that's larger than that opening, and they will work to have an alternate method to get that item screened.
She also showed off some other screening equipment such that automates identity verification. It speeds up the authentication process and also detects fraudulent or counterfeit identification. Also presented was a bottle liquid scanner using lasers to measure the density of the liquid without having to open it. It takes seconds and allows travelers to bring aboard medically necessary liquids in their carry-on items. In other news, with an alarming number of lives lost on island roadways this year, authorities are hoping a new piece of equipment that displays exactly how fast motorists are going will help deter speeding. Matsuki Hirayama gives you a closer look at this tech.
You may have seen these devices on the roadways in recent days. They're there to tell drivers to slow down and to collect data.
The radar digital speed display causing speculation that has since been denounced by the Guam Police Department as a hoax.
So one of the things that went viral is that the radar speed display was set up and that you would be receiving a ticket if you're caught speeding by the radar speed display. First and foremost, that is not true.
Police Chief Stephen Ignacio further dispelling the rumors today to island media. The device itself does not have the capability to snap a photo or give speeding drivers a ticket.
Because we don't have any laws that allow us to use this equipment to then go issue a citation.
Unless an officer physically witnesses the act.
That requires the officers observing the vehicle, right, and making sure that the speed being displayed on the sign is the vehicle that's being detected.
Those going above the speed limit will see flashing strobe lights. Ignacio says the intent of the digital speed signs is to help further education and enforcement efforts and to serve as a deterrence.
As you know, speeding continues to be one of the leading causes of traffic fatalities on our roadways.
Sergeant Alex Blanquisco with GPD's Highway Patrol Division adding, this year alone they've investigated 18 crashes with 22 fatalities, 6 of which were speed related. The equipment also collects data that will help authorities determine where to focus their efforts.
A full deployment will be a 24-hour deployment, and that would show us what time the vehicles are speeding, what day of the week, right? And that'll be a more comprehensive approach to finding out what the problem is.
2 digital speed signs have been purchased so far. They are portable and have already been deployed in various locations, including school zones and along major roadways.
Just based on that data from deploying it for 8 hours, we determined that majority of the vehicles in that location were traveling between 45 to 55 miles an hour, which is above the speed limit.
The message is loud and clear. Slow down and obey the sign. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Girls volleyball highlights are coming up right after this, but first, here's a look from the beautiful area of Santa Rita, Sumay. Of course, down south, it's a look at your world at home.
Tell me stories. You know that I love you.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
He's there helping families pick up the pieces after losing everything to a fire, and there to pass on CPR training that could potentially save lives. For American Red Cross Guam chapter volunteer Dan Kogar, service to others is embedded deeply in his daily life. And though Kogar has had many brushes with devastation before, he says nothing could prepare him for the aftermath of Typhoon Mawar.
When this typhoon hit, that was the whole new game.
A whole new experience in a more than familiar place. The pain of witnessing his neighbors suffering hitting close to home.
Well, this is our home. It's a little different if we're going to go to Florida for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like a lot of the off-island volunteers come here and do, or if we're going to go to Hawaii or New Orleans, right? But when it's at your own home, I think that makes a big difference. And you know, all the folks that are here, they live here. They see these faces every day.
Kogar impacted especially hard, recalling responding to the devastation at the typhoon shelters and the Zero Down community post-Mawar.
Ouch. That's a hard one. Zero Down. I think when you go out to a place and the whole house is destroyed, it's a pile of garbage, and those people are out there digging through, trying to find some clothes and trying to find food. That kind of hits everybody. That was probably the one that was the most eye-opening.
It's equally heartbreaking and eye-opening tribulations that still remain with him today. Kogar brought to tears speaking about his memories. And while he too was impacted by the storm in more ways than one, Kogar telling KUAM why he helps others before himself.
Is it more important for you to stay home when you have a house to go to and they don't? Or there's people out there suffering and they're your neighbors? And then when you look at the foundation of what the Red Cross is about, alleviating pain and suffering, well, that's what we do. And so I think for someone that lives here and the island is their family, I think that would be expected out of all of us.
Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Just as good as I remember it.
Feed Me Fridays is brought to you by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Happy day, guys. We're at Coffee Slut in Tumuning, and Vic and I are craving some coffee, so let's go check it out. Can I just go ahead and get your classic pour over with cream and a black and white?
Happy day, guys. We just finished making our pour over here at Coffee Slut. Next on to is the black and white featuring our nitro coffee and of course Devondale full cream. All right, now that's mixed up, we're just gonna go ahead and add our ice. All right, today on tap we got beans from Colombia and of course nitro coffee, best on Guam. And we just gotta give it one last mix. All right, guys, there you have it. We got our awesome black and white. Check us out over at Coffee Slut whenever you're feeling friendly, flirty, or slutty.
What's up, guys? So we have our classic pour over with cream and my black and white. I'm so excited because black and white is actually my favorite drink from Coffee Slut, which I haven't had in a while. So it contains their nitro coffee and Devondale cream, which I'm so excited about because mocha, chocolate, coffee, and milk. Let's cut right into it. Not too sweet, just the perfect hint of chocolate. All the good flavors from the nitro coffee, and also Devondale for the creaminess of this coffee. Okay, guys, so that's it for today's edition of Feed Me Fridays. We'll see you guys next week.
Feed Me Fridays is brought to you by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Okay, guys, as you're watching this right now in Central Guam, the Doni Festival has already started. Friday night, it's happening right now. If you're watching this on Saturday on YouTube, it's happening then too. If you're watching this on Sunday on Facebook, it's happening there too. If you're watching this on Peacock at any time this weekend, Doni Fest is back. It is happening. Check out the night market grounds. There's live entertainment, arts, crafts, food vendors, trucks, carnival games, rides, face painting, and of course, the hot pepper. And thank you to Mayor Alan Ongakta and the good people of Mingilao for putting on this amazing, amazing island tradition event. It's super, super awesome. All right, the Department of Agriculture's Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources and other news is holding their second round of town hall meetings regarding that very important community clam farm project in Maleso and in Alahan. You want to check out KUAM.com/newsbites, find out how you can register for either of those forums in either southern village. And up on Saipan, there's going to be a women's wellness walkathon that happens on the 23rd from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's at Smiling Cove Marina. Medical services such as blood pressure and sugar count checks will be provided. Okay, you know, each and every week, everybody, there is one piece of business we got to get to before we start the island weekend. Your birthday shoutouts. Okay, Friday, happy birthday wishes to Noah Boblin, who celebrates birthday number 9, and to our wonderful son Noah. We continue to enjoy seeing the world through your eyes. May God continue to bless you. All the love in the world, mommy and daddy. And Ray and Ralph Charfers, two of the nicest dingas, twin brothers, the boys you are ever going to see, who celebrate birthday number 52. And I know these guys. I went to UOG with both Ray and Ralph. I'm sure they don't mind me saying how old they are because they are 52 years strong. Really, really good guys. And all of your family and friends and all of us, your extended family over here at KUAM, are wishing you the very best. So Noah, Ray, and Ralph are birthday celebrants here on the 22nd of September. And also on this Friday, Ichie Shepherd, a wonderful, wonderful island educator celebrating a birthday today. I know she's got lots of very supportive friends and family who are wishing her a very wonderful birthday, including our own Matsuki Hirayama. So we hope you have a wonderful one too. Now, we've got a birthday winner to get to because the new owner of a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake is John Paul Jones, who has a really, really cool name, a captain in the American Revolutionary War of a ship, and also the bassist of Led Zeppelin. But also, our John Paul Jones Jr. here on Guam is our birthday celebrant, and we continue to celebrate John Paul and gifting him and his family with an ice cream cake. So, watch your DMs because we are going to let you know when you can pick up your prize. All right, just one piece of paper left before we close this newscast, and it says, say goodnight, Jason. All right, good night, Jason. Thanks for watching, everybody.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Howdy everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Hub. I'm Nestor Lecanto, and we're pleased to welcome as our guests this week some executives from Philippine Airlines. We have Mr. Salvador Bud Britannico Jr., who is the Vice President of Sales for Philippine Airlines, and of course Brian Bang Ang, who is the Regional Head for Oceania, which includes Guam and Japan and Korea. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Nestor. Thank you for having us here on your show.
Appreciate the time. I understand, first of all, that you will be opening a new ticket office here, and maybe both of you can explain a little bit about that and why the new office.
Yes, that's correct. And we'd like to invite you and everyone of our viewers to visit our new ticket office. It's over at the Micronesia Mall on the second level. So our team will be ready to assist our passengers for their travel needs on Philippine Airlines in that office. So yeah, it's tied in with the 35th anniversary of Micronesia Mall, and we're really excited to be able to have everyone visit the office.
Yeah, and Bang, you've had a ticketing office in the Micronesia Mall for quite some time, but this one is bigger and better, and,
Yes.
and why the new space?
It is newer, and then it's really with in line with the Micronesia Mall anniversary as well. And I think it's about time for us to show the newer Philippine Airlines. It's also in line with our product improvement. Compared to before, we're now utilizing our newer Neo A321neo short-range aircraft, which is a 195-seater with best-in-class business class and economy class seats.
Yeah.
There. So that's an improvement from our previous product.
And in fact, I think Philippine Airlines has placed an order for 9 additional Airbus, but those are long-range planes, correct?
That's correct, Nestor. We did recently announce orders for a fleet of A350-1000s. These will be flying on our long-haul network. And it will be top of class. So you'll have on the business class segment or portion of the cabin, there will be all direct aisle access business class seats. You'll also have premium economy and of course economy. So these will be servicing our routes to North America and Canada, and potentially also to other new destinations in other parts of the world. So we're looking to have this aircraft delivered beginning sometime 2025, and really something that everybody, all our passengers will be very happy to fly on.
Sure, new equipment is a good sign for any airline, right? With new acquisitions.
Yes, and it will be designed really to cater to make sure that our passengers have a great experience in flight.
Yeah, and Bang, I understand that there's some special pricing going on right now for fares.
Yes, we are having actually our ultimate seat sale. So we are offering 354 on economy. That's all in. And 754 on business class to Manila.
Oh, great
Yes.
price. And this, how long is this the duration?
This is ongoing, and it's going to be until September 24.
Okay. Look, just big picture. I know that a lot of the airline industry, actually the entire airline industry, was impacted, of course, by the pandemic, and it has taken some time to get back to where they were pre-pandemic. Talk about the Philippine Airlines experience. So how have you managed to recover from this 2.5 year pandemic that just really decimated the travel industry?
Yes, that's true. We all know how disruptive COVID was to the many industries, and of course the aviation industry was one of those that was terribly affected by COVID. And of course Philippine Airlines was not exempt from that. But we're just fortunate that the pandemic is over, and there are less restrictions to worry about in travel. In fact, practically there is none. And then we're fortunate that after the pandemic, we were able to recover and actually be much stronger as an airline. And that's what we're trying to do now. We've stabilized our network. We've resumed our flights almost to 100% in many of our destinations, both international and also domestic. And we look forward to the next stage for Philippine Airlines, which is to grow our network. And again, to offer our services not only for the Guam to Manila market, but also for other markets beyond the Philippines, both domestically, Manila to domestic destinations in the Philippines, but also Manila to other parts of the world, especially for Southeast Asia, where Guam gets really good connections to other network.
And Bud mentioned the previous travel restrictions, and there's sometimes a little confusion, especially if you haven't traveled to Manila recently. So all of those things, like you had to get the QR code and all that stuff. Can you explain what the current procedure is for traveling to Manila and then coming back?
Yeah, so we don't have restrictions anymore. All you need to do really is to log on to the e-travel and fill up the form there. It's all digital, and you'll receive a QR code that you just need to present once you arrive in Manila.
Okay, so everything is pretty much back to normal. Okay, you don't need all that other and the visa requirements. Those are the same.
Before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. And so makes it easier for folks to fly back and forth. Are any plans to increase frequencies?
Right now for Guam we fly daily. So it's we leave Guam early morning. So you're in Manila in the first thing in the morning. We leave Manila back to Guam in the evening. So we practically have a very good schedule for those, whether you're taking a leisure trip or you're taking a business trip. And we're always on the lookout for opportunities to grow our business. And in fact, in certain seasons of the year, that's something we can consider, adding more frequencies on our flight between Guam and the Philippines.
Yeah. And if I may add to that, before the pandemic, during the Christmas peak, we've actually operated a couple of our wide-body A330s to Guam, up to about twice a week. So we've done that before, and if there is a need, if there is enough demand for any season, then when we would be able to complement that.
Yeah. Talk about your traffic traditionally. You get a lot of, for example, connecting for passengers flying from Manila, connecting here in Guam to Honolulu and beyond to the U.S.
Most of our connections are going to Southeast Asia. So we have really good connections to Bangkok, Singapore, Saigon, there, Hong Kong as well. And then, of course, to domestic destinations. So we don't really carry, because of the U.S. cabotage, we don't carry passengers to the U.S. So anything to the west of Guam is a route that we're interested in carrying.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, and I'm aware of the cabotage rules. I mean, you cannot fly foreign between domestic locations, and Guam, for the U.S. purposes, even though we're far from the U.S. mainland, we are considered a domestic flight. In some cases, we're considered a domestic flight. So Philippine Airlines would be prohibited under the cabotage rules from flying to Guam direct to the U.S.
That's right.
Even though we could probably use another direct carrier to the United States. But is there any potential for that changing in the future?
Well, in the short term, possibly no, or that's indefinite. But again, because of the network of Philippine Airlines, there are multiple destinations that passengers from Guam can really fly to. Bulk of our market now would be VFRs, visiting friends and relatives flying to the Philippines. But we do also see a lot of traffic, again, as Bang mentioned, going to other parts of the world, especially Southeast Asia. And what's also interesting is we're also seeing a diverse set of segments traveling. So for example, to the Philippines, you have people going for not only to visit friends or to take vacations and go back to the Philippines, but also for other industries like medical tourism. So you see more services being offered in the Philippines for residents of Guam.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about the medical tourism to the Philippines, because St. Luke's has really been a popular destination point for a lot of Guam travelers. But we need to take a break, so we will continue with our discussion with the executives from the Philippine Airlines right after this break.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
New chicken nuggets from KFC?
Everybody's gonna want these. Let's eat these inside.
Try new Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets. You've never had nuggets like these.
Welcome back. We are with Philippine Airlines executives, Salvador Bud Britannico, who is the Vice President of Sales, and Brian Bang Ang, who is the regional head for Oceania, Korea, and Japan. Thanks for joining us again, gentlemen. And before we took a break, we talked a little bit about some of the reasons why people from Guam go to the Philippines. And we mentioned, of course, there's medical tourism. A lot of patients go to St. Luke's and to the medical city. Talk a little bit about that and some of the other reasons why I think folks should travel and visit the Philippines.
Yes. For medical tourism, what we're seeing is there's really a development in that particular industry in the Philippines. So you have a lot of private sector businesses, health institutions really scaling up and offering their services, especially for residents of Guam, because it's a quick 3.5 hour, 3 hour, 45-minute flight. It's a daily flight, very convenient, and services there are being offered. World-class services there are being offered. So we see that both in the medical industry and as well as now, quite recently, even on the dental industry. Again, from what we know in the industry, it is world-class. Services are world-class, and not only do you get your medical services there, but there's also an opportunity, as you mentioned, other purposes for people to take a quick trip, whether within the Philippines, of course, to visit the many islands, and as well as the option to visit other destinations in the region.
Yeah. And Bang, when most people think of going to the Philippines, they think going to Manila, but it's such a big country. There's so many places to go, and Philippine Airlines, of course, has connections to some of those, almost all of those key places, right?
Yes. We see a lot of Guam passengers connecting to Iloilo, Tacloban, Rojas, but also the leisure destinations such as Calibo, Caticlan, Cebu, Bohol, and Palawan. Yes, so what Bud mentioned, they a lot of them are doing it together with their medical visits. So it's great because with the Philippines, we know it. We have great nurses, great doctors. So it's like an extension of Guam just being less than 4 hours away. So it's both medical and leisure visits.
Yeah, but one of the things Bang mentioned, Iloilo. I recall maybe a couple of years ago there was a investment group that came to Guam from Iloilo, hoping to see a direct flight from Iloilo to Guam. And there are other places, of course, business centers in the Philippines, like in Davao and Cebu. Is there any thought to maybe having direct flights from those like central and southern Philippines to Guam?
Yes, we're always observing these trends or these developments in the industry. I'm actually from Iloilo.
Yeah.
And
Capiz,
so Bisaya, Ilonggo. No? And we're as of course our role also in nation building is how to be able to develop these markets. So we're on the lookout and observing the industry developments. But at the moment, what we do have are actually convenient connections. So you can fly into Manila. Again, you arrive at 7 a.m. thereabouts, and then immediately within an hour or 2 hours, you have connections to different parts of the Philippines. You're correct. There's a lot of development in the Philippines as well. So you see hubs like Cebu, Davao, Iloilo is actually an international airport as well, and direct flights between these hubs could be a reality in the future, whether it's near or sooner than later. That's something we're studying, constantly taking a look at.
I don't know if you're aware, but we have a we have a village in southern Guam, Hagat, that has a lot of Ilonggo roots. A lot of the construction workers and other workers from the Philippines right after the war came to help rebuild Guam, and a lot of them stayed and married locally, and so there's quite a substantial Ilonggo population in Hagat.
So that's where we can go if we want bak choy or pancit.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to add to that, Bang? Sorry.
Yes, and then actually you mentioned workers. That's actually one of our market as well. So we with Guam now accepting more workers from the Philippines. So we do send a lot of construction workers to H1, H2, over to Guam, and we continue to support them.
Yeah. In addition to domestic connections, what's the market, do you think, if any, of say a traveler going to Manila and then connecting to your international flights to the mainland U.S. or to other parts of how big of a market is that?
At the moment, with the exception of the U.S., since we don't do that due to cabotage, it's at the moment it's about 15% of our market, but we know we can grow that because pre-pandemic we were sending about 30% of our market would be to beyonds, meaning to Southeast Asia or elsewhere in our network, and that's something that we want to build up. To inform the market that leisure is back. You can go visit Southeast Asia, even Middle East, and connect in Manila. And we've recently transferred to Terminal 1, and that allows us to connect international to international within an hour.
But Bang mentioned the transfer to Terminal 1, so all our international flights actually already fly out of Terminal 1.
Yeah.
So if you're flying from Guam to Manila and going to Singapore or Hong Kong or Kuala Lumpur or Vietnam or Bangkok, within that same terminal, you can actually connect already. And then we're in the process also of, within the fourth quarter of this year, opening our lounge, our travel, our business class lounge, our Mabuhay lounge, actually for our customers that they can enjoy. So you're seeing a lot of investment from the Philippines, from the Philippine Airlines side, but also on the airport side. So really improving passenger experience. So you see Manila really developing itself as a hub for travel.
Speaking of NAIA, that's a good segue because I was going to ask about that. At one point, NAIA, which is Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 1, had a bad reputation for but the airport authority in the Philippines has made some progress in improving NAIA 1?
Yes, I think that prompted us as Filipinos also to improve on Terminal 1. So now if you visit Terminal 1, you'd see a lot of concessionaires there, a lot more choices when it comes to food, cafes, and shopping. I think it's actually a very good terminal now to use, and we're very happy to be situated in that terminal.
Sure.
And then again, it takes a lot of partnership between Philippine Airlines and the other airlines as well to work with government to really get feedback of passengers, what passengers want, and we're just really happy and optimistic also at the same time that it could only get better. Can only get better. There's a move for privatization of the terminal, and that will really unlock a lot of value and really improve passenger experience going to our airports.
And just for context, Philippine Airlines is not in charge of the airport, but of course you're one of the main tenants of the airport, and so of course you would like to see for your customers' behalf that there are improvements. That's because when they fly to other countries, say Singapore, which is Changi Airport, is a beautiful facility, of course, in comparison, right? So it's good that the Philippine authorities have seen fit to improve the airport facilities for your use and for your passengers.
And that's we're the biggest operator in Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. And again, we do collaborate with the airport authorities. We give them feedback of what their passengers say, especially their customer satisfaction surveys. And the airport is one of those touch points where passengers really weigh on and really want to see improvements in. And on our end, we're trying as best also to improve our end of it. And we're just happy that government is also doing the same.
All right, we're going to take one more break, and we'll be back with Philippine Airlines executives and talk about the Guam-only visa waiver and how they are supportive of that. Don't go away.
In 2022, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 won the award for World Car of the Year. So of course the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 just had to go out and win World Car of the Year for 2023. Because everyone knows how competitive sibling rivalries can be. World Car of the Year 2 years in a row.
Welcome back. We were talking with the executives from Philippine Airlines and wanted to talk to you guys about the Guam-only visa waiver program. It's something that GVB President and former Governor Carl Gutierrez has been pushing, which would be, I think, a boom to the Philippine traffic, correct?
Yes, yes. We always welcome that. We think that at the moment, the U.S. visa is still somewhat a restriction for Filipino to travel freely to Guam. So we understand that. But if there is a need for more visitors into Guam, the Philippines would be a very, very good market for that.
Yeah, and talk about how that would be, attractive to Filipinos, because I think the visa fee right now is about $165 US, and you pay that whether or not you get the visa or not, right?
Yes, it's my first time in Guam, and I'm actually loving Guam. Right, there's a lot of things to do in Guam. Shopping, the beaches are nice, and you can just imagine. And we're fortunate that former Governor Gutierrez is actually pushing for it. And there's so much potential for getting Filipino tourists to go to Guam. Imagine a 3.5-hour flight from Manila. And in many of our destinations, anywhere where you fly 3 to 4 hours, you have multiple flights in a day. So the Philippines to Tokyo, Manila to Tokyo, Manila to Singapore, Manila to Hong Kong, and you'd notice that for many of these destinations that are within that time frame, you have multiple flights in a day. And you can just imagine, right now we operate daily, and you can just imagine how much more traffic there could be if Filipinos can freely enter Guam without a US visa or even an electronic visa, just something to make it more convenient, more accessible.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's the call of the federal government, the Department of Homeland Security. How would you convince them that the Guam-only visa waiver is a good thing?
I think for tourists and even for family members, we have about 50,000 Filipinos here with families over in the Philippines. It would be great to actually have them meet their families, have them enjoy Guam. So it should be able to help the tourist numbers as well as revenues for Guam.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that. Number one is not only the economic opportunity, but really also the cultural ties. That's one. Guam and of course the Philippines. You can really see the cultural ties of it. And as an airline, we'll be very supportive of how to be able to frame this and how to be able to actually get this done. We feel that if there are any special procedures that have to be done, we can work with the federal government on this, and Guam would be a good first case for that kind of arrangement. And again, the potential is actually there, and the possibilities are limitless. And I think all factors, all signs indicate that this could really work.
Yeah, and for the Philippine outbound travelers, getting a U.S. visa is a tedious process. If you've ever had to go through that, just lining up and getting an appointment at the embassy and just the volume of it, right? And that would be a boon, I think, or a benefit or an incentive for Filipinos?
Yes, if you want to apply for a US visa, I think the waiting time is about a year at the least to get an interview. So if we're able to a visa waiver for Guam, then immediately passengers from the Philippines would be able to fly, and that would also help. For example, if you want to promote Guam, travel to Guam, easily we can have the ultimate seat sales or other seat sales and have more passengers to come over.
All right, we've only got a couple of minutes left, and I want to give you both an opportunity to say hello to our audience and invite them to avail of the Philippine Airlines service.
Thank you. First of all, again, thank you, Nestor, for giving us the opportunity to be in your show. We're happy to be here. And we also want to thank everyone in Guam for continuing to support Philippine Airlines and continuing to patronize Philippine Airlines. We have a lot of improvement coming along, and we're going through a lot of improvement activities, and we can only expect the experience of passengers to be much better. And we welcome everybody to visit our new office in the second floor of the Micronesia Mall, and then to visit our team as well there. So we have a few of our colleagues that will be here in Guam. We have Rap, we have Rael, and of course we have our partners, Miss Connie, the team there that will be ready to accommodate any queries of our passengers on Philippine Airlines.
Yes. So we've improved the place. So we have a new office. We've improved our product. We were operating the newer aircraft to Guam. We're offering great prices at the moment. There's